Hey students, good to see you. Although I guess I'm not technically seeing you since this is on a video, but you know what I mean. So here we go. Last week we finished up our love-hate series, and we really focused on the idea of loving the world, even though the culture around us is full of hate, hating on people and ideas and things, and how we can be better at that as people and as followers of Christ. And so that really leads into this next series that we're doing, which is called the You Effect. And so we're not going to really jump into this. I just want to lay out the groundwork for it so that we understand this transition, which I think is really important. Because if we're going to talk about how we need to love people, let love be our filter, let love be the thing that fills in the blank in our lives with the people around us, then we really have to understand the impact and the effect that we have on the people around us. See, because if we stop and pay attention, we can see how nearly everything around us and everyone around us has the potential to have an effect on us, right? So if that's true, then that means that you, as students, middle school, high school, as adults, you have the potential to have an effect on someone else. So whether that's family or friends or your peers, classmates, neighbors, co-workers, whomever, you have the ability to affect people. And we all have felt what it was like whenever that one person enters into the room and all of a sudden the volume in the room goes up 10 notches, right? That was like what would happen whenever I would come into a room because I'm so loud. We know what it's like whenever a teacher or a boss tries to enter into the conversation that you're having with your friends or with your coworkers, right? It just kind of changes the dynamic, whether that's good or whether that's bad. See, we all have an effect on the people around us, and a lot of times we only think about how other people affect us, and we don't really think about how we have an effect on the people around us. And so that's what we're going to spend the next 3 weeks talking about, is the you effect, the effect that you have on the people around you. And I want to take these weeks to encourage you to use your influence to impact the lives of the people around you in a positive and powerful way. So we're going to talk about how you have to think more about the effect that you have on other people, because you have more of an effect than you think. And then we're going to talk about how having a big effect starts with just small steps. And then we're going to talk about, on that last week, how because of Jesus, we can change the effect that we have on others. See, because many of you may have a negative effect on others right now. That can change. And some of you have a positive effect on the people around you, but maybe it's not as powerful as it could be. Or maybe, that is kind of teetering on the edge of changing. And so we really want to show you how to avoid the pitfalls. So if we're talking about how love needs to be the thing that guides us and filters and fills in the blanks, and how we love in a hate-filled world, we need to understand the effect that we have on the people around us, because Matthew 5:16 says, "In the same way, let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven." That means that your life has to have an effect of showing Christ. And a lot of times that's difficult, right? It says, "In the same way, let your light shine before others." Okay, you don't hide it under a bushel. The scripture's talking about. You don't try to, a city on a hill, can't be hidden, because the light shines all around it. You as a believer are putting out something, and you can't try and hide that because you're worried or you're scared or you're anxious about what's going to happen and the people around you, how they're going to react. See, we all have an effect. And if you try and hide your effect, then people are going to notice that you're ashamed about something. And instead of having a positive effect, you're going to have a negative effect. And I don't think any of us want to have a negative effect on the people around us. And you may be sitting here listening to me right now going, that makes no sense. You don't know what you're talking about. I don't have an effect on the people around me. No one listens to me. No one cares about me. No one cares about what I have to say. And I'm going to tell you that you're full of it, okay? You have more of an effect than you realize. That just because you think that everyone doesn't listen to you, no one listens to you, that's not true. Just because you may not be an influencer on TikTok, or maybe you don't have, a million people subscribing to your YouTube channel, doesn't mean you're insignificant. Right? Just because you don't have a boatload of Instagram followers doesn't mean anything. Even if your influence is just a few people, you're influencing people. And we need to understand that. We may not have the most people following us, but we still have people watching us. We still have people paying attention to us, whether we're seniors or we're sixth graders, whether we're 14 or 40. It doesn't matter. You have an impact on people around you. And we have to understand that we have been given this opportunity to impact the people around us for Christ. You've heard me say before that we have this sphere of influence, that you are to protect and stand up for the people that are within your sphere of influence and reach out and continue to bring people into that sphere of influence. That sphere of influence are the people that you affect on a daily basis. Whether you realize it or not, you are impacting the people around you. And sometimes that's a really big responsibility that we may not be ready for. But these next few weeks, we're going to help you figure out how to do it and how to do it well. So I want to encourage you to pay attention these next few weeks, because in addition to teaching you how to impact the people around you well, we're going to have a few little nuggets and surprises for people that pay attention through the video all the way through, and we'll have a little bit of a competition for you to respond to, and the first couple of people that respond will get a surprise mailed to them. So in addition to encouraging you to pay attention and to do this little challenge that we're going to have embedded in the videos, I want to encourage you to really sit down and think about who the people are that you influence, that you affect. Who is it that's on the receiving end of the you effect? And I want you to think about, going into this series, who it is that you impact and how you impact them.